This is like big time, like telling the secrets of the Daily Project. I hope everyone appreciates this because this is like a biggie.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here at the Dana Lee Project, where we talk about all things food related, body image related, exercise related, in regards to it getting in the way of you living your best life. I think that's a good way to say it, right, Mandy? We talk about,
Yes. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Yes.
It's a
Yes.
pretty big umbrella of different topics that we talk about every week because this really is about us living our best lives. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Those are some things that we're going to be talking about. And if you are here again, thank you for tuning in. You know, some of the conversations now me and Mandy are having are kind of whatever we feel like is happening. And we're on the pulse of like, what do we want to talk about this week? So we are recording this just after the time change, and we now spring forward, and now it's daylight savings time. A little bit more spring in the air. It is sunny and like 60 here in Jersey, and Mandy is tuning in from her front porch, where I know
Yeah.
that you're in Buffalo, so it's got to be nice out by you. What temperature is it by you?
Jim just told me it was 60,
Okay,
which
so
is
similar.
like gorgeous right now. It's like the sun is shining, the birds are happy, the snow is almost melted. There's like those like ugly the ones that catch all the dirt, like little piles of dirt all over the place. They're like little dirt snows. But my front porch is like my happy place. I love hanging out here all summer long. So I was like, I don't care. I put a little space heater out here, to be honest,
Yeah,
because I want to
yeah.
be out here. But like, it's so funny because it's like springtime and everything. And we were just talking about daylight savings, right? And how it's like, oh, like last night, this whole weekend, like and all that. And now I look at myself and I think, you know what it is? That I was like, oh, I look tired. I don't look tired. I don't have a tan. That's
Yes, you need a little sunshine. Yes.
I need a little bit of a
Yeah.
rosy cheek. I don't have a rosy cheek
Uh-huh.
because this space.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
me a
Well, it's
couple
coming.
weeks. Yeah,
It's coming. It's coming.
yeah.
We're gonna get out in nature, get walking more. I took a hike. I was hiking during the week with one of my clients. It was so I was it was like above 50, so it was actually really nice hiking weather. I prefer hiking any anywhere after like above 40 degrees. If it's lower
Hmm.
than 48, it gets a little like I'm sweaty and cold, and then I don't know, it's mixed, but above 40 can actually be pretty comfortable for me to hike. It's all about the proper clothes. Speaking of which, so today we want to talk about spring cleaning, but spring cleaning in regards to our relationship to ourselves. So if you're part of my mentorship program, I start my clients off on module one with decluttering. And this is usually like, Dana, what the fuck are we doing with decluttering? I thought I'm here to heal my relationship with my food and my body, and I don't really understand this. However, there's so much we can learn about ourselves because I truly have come to understand our external environment is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And that takes patience to sort out. So that's why in the beginning, if it's really difficult to address the emotional issues of emotional eating and binge eating, sometimes it's easier just to clean out a drawer or a medicine cabinet, and start to feel like a little bit better and a little bit like, oh, something shifted, a little bit of energy shifted. I feel a little lighter. And then with that creates a little more momentum for you to look at other areas in our life. So we want to talk about it because of this time of year, just the time change. It's a little nicer. Spring is around the corner. And Mandy was also sharing with me that she was kind of on this spring cleaning kick.
Yeah.
And also I've resorted some things here in the studio and rearranged some things. So it's a process, like what you're going to declutter now in your life is going to be different than 6 months from now, where you're maybe emotionally ready to let go of some other things. Maybe your body changes. Maybe it's, in relationship to clothes. So, I know Mandy had an eye-opening experience when you first went through module one.
Well,
Well,
this is
even
like
before.
this is like big time, like telling the secrets of the Daily Project. I hope everyone appreciates this because this is like a biggie roadmap to food freedom that we don't do anymore. But um, Dana, the first day, we're talking about a bunch of things, and our homework that night was to take 15 minutes and declutter something, just like you're talking, just like how she just said just now. Take 15 minutes and declutter. And then the next day, we'll talk about how it felt, what we did, whatever. And I was like really pumped about it because I was really motivated about this different way of thinking about, you know, food. And I really enjoyed a lot of the things that Dana had said that day about changing your environment in the way you see things. So instead of taking 15 minutes, I actually redid like my entire bedroom. Like I cleaned everything. I took my closet out. I went through all of my clothes and I donated a bunch of things. And then the next day, when we all sat down to talk, Dana was like, "So, what did you do?" And everyone's talking. She's like, "How did you feel? How did you approach this this assignment?" And I realized that I binged the assignment. I did not just, I wanted it, and then I realized I wanted it all done right now, as soon as possible. I wasn't going to be patient. I wasn't going to take 15 minutes and just go through one drawer. I was going through all of the drawers. And it was like a big light bulb moment for me to realize that, like, wait a minute, I have a really hard time taking my time and just going step by step. I want it all done right now. And it really was like, wow, I binge everything I do. So it was like, then I started working on, then I like basically signed up to work with Dana right away because I was like, this is interesting. And then the more I learned about environment and how we treat, it's almost like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the
Hmm.
environment around you that makes you slow down, or is it you slowing down that makes the environment around you? Because um, another thing about this I realized was through working the first module, which is all about that, is when I sat down and I looked around my bedroom, there were a lot of empty pop cans and empty Cheeto box bags and piles of this and piles of that. And I realized that like I really cluttered my environment and didn't really respect my space. Even like my most favorite spaces, I just piled junk all over the place. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I disrespecting my favorite spaces in my house? And that became a big whoa, wait a second. If I'm disrespecting the spaces in my house and how, like, I really am disrespect, like, it really made me look in the mirror and go, wow, what else am I disrespecting when it comes to things I really love? The things
Hmm.
that I really want to enjoy and put in my life. I don't give it the space, even though I think I'm giving my body what it needs and moving my body, all of the things that I was like, well, I just gotta binge this diet and I'll get it done and it'll be done. But would never be done to completion because I would get to a point where I would just disrespect it and turn off that space. It was so the whole it's so it's so much in one exercise that really blew up my brain that I was like, it's hard to even explain.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing through experience. You can hear us talking about it here, and maybe you have some experiences of decluttering. However, don't you think it was different with the intention behind why we were decluttering?
Yes.
The intention
Yes.
of why, like bring the awareness to the activity that you're doing and sorting through with the acknowledgement about what you can learn about yourself with the environment that you've created around you. Because the
Hmm.
environment around you, I love that you realized of the respecting of the space part because that's where I feel like it can be a little easier for my clients to start to see and change a little bit of the space, even if they have a hard time respecting their bodies or loving their bodies. And, we've talked about that a little bit. How do you even practice that when it feels so foreign? But you can at least acknowledge and witness, hold up. Now this is actually my house that I'm so grateful for, and my home I'm so grateful for, and all that I have, and yet how you're treating it is telling a slightly different story. So if you can start treating the rooms in your house differently and really paying attention to, why I want to keep this? Where do I want to put these things? Everything has a place, but doing it to get your house in order the same way you would do to take care of your body, get your body in order. So if you can start from the external, it can make it builds a little momentum for it to be easier to take a look at the internal. It's just not so abrasive and hard. Some of those insights came to you like this without trying super hard. It just sort of like came to you, but it's
Yes.
with intention behind the practice. And the other thing I want to say is, yes, we started in module 1, but our work is a year container. It's because the decluttering process, it's not just the physical stuff, right? I had a woman who just joined the mentorship like last week, and she's like, well, but my physical space, oh, it's in order. Oh, but what about the digital space? How much are you actually allowing into your space, even like relationship wise? I mean, the layers go on and on. So I always like to meet women where they're at with that clutter, because
Mhm.
somewhere you have clutter in your life. Otherwise, I don't believe there would be this manifestation of the food issues and the body image issues, and there is a correlation between those things, no doubt. It just
Mhm.
shows up slightly different with every single person.
I would bet that probably 90% of the women I know, maybe even men, but at least women, hold on to clothes that don't fit them, that they don't like. I mean, when we're talking about body image and food culture and everything, I guarantee you I had clothes that were either too big on me or too small on me, but maybe someday. So it's like in there. And I would joke about it because I'm like, there's a pair of pants in my closet that talk to me and remind me that I'm not going to fit into those pants. Like, why do I have you? Why are you there? Why are you taking up space in my closet when if I was to say lose those inches and fit into a pair of pants that size someday, would I want to wear a pair of pants that I wore when I was like 25? Do I want to wear those? Are they even in style anymore? It's like, why am I
No.
holding on to these pants? But it's like, there's a lot of people who are watching this video who are like, yep, I got clothes like that. I have a whole box in my attic of skinny clothes that I don't
Mhm.
want to get rid of because of I might be able to wear them someday, but it's like, why would you want to wear them again? You're not that
Yeah,
same
'cause
person you were then,
yeah, even
you
if you
know?
could fit into them again, the other thing I like to talk about growing out of, it's not just growing out of the size. You grow out of it like maturity wise, and your
Yeah,
fashion sense changes, and you become like you get to know yourself better and better and better. And then you're like, wow. I mean, I certainly have stories like this too in the mentorship. There are ladies who are like, I don't even like those clothes. Like, I
yeah.
got them, but I don't even really like them. If I'm being honest, I thought
Hmm.
and everyone else liked them, or it was a style at the time. So I just did what the trend was, but I never really liked it. So that can come out of it too, where it's like, man, now that I'm getting to know myself, that's like
Yeah,
not even really me, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Wasn't it? Well, we know Maria would be fine with us telling this story, but my sister, she was like, half of the clothes I have in my closet were gifts, and I don't want to get rid of them because they were gifts, but it's not really my style.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, that was a huge eye opener because it's like, then you start to think about what else are you doing for other people that you don't really want to do? Okay, let's talk about that. And it's like, wait a minute, like all these, it's really crazy when you really think about your environment and how it really goes along with what you're doing in your real life. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, so many people have like gadgets or things that they have like hanging on their walls and gifts that people have given them and you're like, do I even like this? Or is it
Mm,
just because my mother gave it to me and it was great Aunt Sam, Uncle Sam's from like whatever? And you're like, but it's a hand me down and I have to have it here. It's like,
I know.
what do yeah, it's like so,
Yeah.
but then you also have to ask yourself, what else am I holding on to that other people want me to hold on to? It's so
Yes.
eye-opening.
What
It's
am I
correct.
holding on to?
Mm-hmm.
Like physically, what am I
Yeah.
holding on to that is making other people more comfortable about me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
your body is part of that
Yeah.
conversation.
And I would
Hmm.
say even like different like things I do, like I would say for me, maybe I don't really like giving my friend a ride, but it's something that she really needs and I always do it, but it's really inconvenient. And weird things like that, like little things that you got to go, am I taking up this, am I doing for people or am I doing because I care? There's a lot of layers to just that one little exercise.
Just the one.
Hmm.
But the good news is then I mean, we have a container we can continue to
Oh
support through
yes.
the
Yep. Yep.
nuances
Blow
because,
up, blow up your brain and then sit
yeah,
there in your closet and
yeah,
cry.
exactly. You're like, and rock back and forth because you're like, oh my God, how do I sort through this? Yeah. Come into our world and we got you. And we love to talk about that stuff to help you get through that, like, and to process it all because it can be sometimes overwhelming. But then that overwhelm could also be the thing that stalls out from the spring cleaning.
Hmm.
Okay, so like, oh, emotions come up and it's like, oh, fuck that. I'm not going to even do that because I can't
Hmm.
handle it. And then the piles just stay there. It's not dealt with. So it's like the avoidance thing, the procrastination thing. Even in that, you can learn about yourself.
Hmm.
How are you handling that? Am I going to
Hmm.
put my head in the sand? I'm just going to be overwhelmed and and that's it. It overtakes things and then I do nothing? Even in that process, so much to learn about yourself.
Like I did over the weekend, I just went through a bunch of clothes because change of seasons and stuff. And again, I don't need new clothes. It's just like this has been sitting in my closet and I don't really use it. I'm gonna get rid of a bunch of things just to make room for the new. And my next hurdle is the bag of clothes in my office that needs to go to Goodwill. I need to drop it off at Goodwill. How long is it gonna sit there? That's a good one.
Yeah,
I did
or
have the right word.
you're driving around with it in your trunk.
Oh, yep. Yep.
So it's like, okay, I got rid of clothes, but not quite because they're still sitting in a bag in the
Yep.
back of your car.
Yep. And now what does that say about me? That opens a whole can of worms. Like
Well,
I go to
yeah.
a certain site, but I'm like, I did it, but I'm not quite done yet. I'm not quite done. I'm not quite done.
Yeah,
Get
and
there.
maybe that speaks more to the ability to be able to let go.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or the ability to complete a task. Sometimes the fear can also be, again, this is very, very many layers deep. But sometimes it's like, let's just talk about going on a diet and, trying to lose weight. There also can be this fear in the head of once I get to that goal, now what do I do? What do I do from there? So I know it's so weird and it may not even seem like it's correlated, but driving around with the bag in the back of your truck or your left in your room could also be a little symbol of that piece of like, well, if I complete this project, then that means, oh, I have to go on to another project.
I'm still working on my clothes
I'm
project.
still working on the clothes. But if I get rid of that, it's also, I'm telling you, there's so much here.
I know.
There's also the emptiness that can be felt with the space.
Yeah.
And sometimes having the space in the room and the organization, like it can feel good, but can you handle feeling good? Can you
Hmm.
handle the breathing space? Can you handle the organization? And how long can you handle it before you let things pile back in and clutter back up? Because in that clutter, there's some sort of comfort
Hmm. Hmm.
in the mess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Tricky, tricky.
Oh, such good stuff.
So same thing, lose the weight, but I lost it. I lost it. I'm looking for it again. I don't, I'm going to let it creep back on.
Hmm. Yep.
Telling you, this whole decluttering thing is like, it just
It's so
starts to
much.
knock something, the dominoes down
It's
for the
so
rest of
much.
the work. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it never
Oh,
ends. Decluttering
no.
never ends. So like I'm now, my studio, I'm always looking for, my classes are really filling up. I'm topping out. I'm, at capacity for a few, and I want to be able to fit as many ladies in the room as possible. So I'm always looking, how do I reorganize the room so everyone has the space? And if I have 11 or 12 ladies, like doesn't feel crowded. So how do I reorganize? So but that isn't something that I had to deal with a couple years ago when my main issue was filming in the space. That
Hmm.
was like a totally different purpose. It was a different intention. So that's the other thing that I think is really important as you go through the seasons in your life and you look at ways to declutter, let go, reorganize. It's for the intent and purpose of the space, that can also change, so the chapters of your life every year, it's a little different. Your willingness to let go changes. And the also the ability to see things differently. Sometimes your eyes don't even pick up on some of the clutter or disorganization. It's almost like you're so used to looking at this thing piled up or something, some bookshelf in your room, that you're like, oh no, my eye is so used to
Yeah.
looking at that. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
it,
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
yeah, then
Hmm.
6 months later, you're like, "Oh my God, I don't even read half those books." They were
I
like
know.
given to me. Like, why do I even have them? They're books that I have from college. Like, why
Yeah.
do I even,
Yeah.
so your
Yeah.
brain can only handle so much at a
Mhm.
time,
Yeah.
little by little.
Hey, friends, are you like me and are super excited about spring? I can't wait. I'm loving a little bit of sunshine poking through the windows and the birds chirping and all that fun stuff. I just love the change of seasons. Well, on April 26th and 27th, we are having a springtime refresh and revive retreat. Say that 5 times fast. Refresh and revive retreat. And we're all going to be there. All the cool kids are going to be there. And it's going to be so much fun. As we get closer to the event, more details will be announced on our website as well as on our Facebook page. But in the meantime, if you want to come, go ahead and grab yourself a spot. We will have the link in the description. Can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to be great.
Yeah. We're doing big project right now. We're cleaning out the attic. And oh my
Mhm.
goodness, it feels so good. But it also can be a little bit overwhelming. We're doing piece by piece. But that's like the room that now our sons are all older now, and they're 18, 19, and 20. And that was where the boys used to play their video games and stuff. And now my son has his video games and stuff in his bedroom, and the room is just not used anymore for anything. So we're making it into a spare room. I mean, we're really going through some of the things that we held on to are ridiculous. It's so funny. But yeah. So and we're finding things, and that's the other thing too is like when you're going through stuff and my husband will be like, "Do you want to hold on to this? Do you want to like maybe use this?" I'm like, "I didn't even know we had that. If I didn't know I had it, don't let's just get rid of it." It can
Mhm.
be really overwhelming. And like you were saying, like sometimes you get to a point where the room is a mess. You make a mess before you clean, because you're pulling everything out of the drawers and stuff. And you're like, I didn't know I had that. I didn't know I had that. Shouldn't I keep that? Because that's kind of expensive and da 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 da. It really can become overwhelming and you can fall down the rabbit hole of overwhelm and then just forget it, I'm done. Never go up there again. Just close the door and lock it. Walk away.
Uh-huh.
I won't, but I can see the temptation to do it. Um, yeah, because and it can go from, but with that whole idea again is the fact that like I want to binge and get it all done right now as fast as possible. And I have to really tell myself, okay, one closet, one bin full of Christmas decorations at a time, going through the attic, going through a little toy box. Do I want to have a million Legos when my boys are all adults? Kind of do, but do I need them? Will I play with Legos? Doubt it, They're so expensive. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, so that brings up the point of how when you start to change your mindset from all or nothing
Hmm.
across the board. So I had that attitude about exercise. I had that attitude about food rules and eating, this all or nothing. So then, of
Hmm.
course, I would apply it to something like decluttering or cleaning out my garage or reorganizing. It was like an all or nothing thing. Also, some perfectionist tendencies in that. So sometimes I would stall out because it's like, if I can't be good at this and get this done and have it be perfect, well, I'm going to find ways to procrastinate and I'm not going to do any of it. So as you start, so it's kind of like you said before, the chicken or the egg, because,
Yeah.
and that's why it is such a process. The more you start to heal your relationship with yourself, to take good care of yourself and look at the areas in between the extremes, it's not all or nothing. It's not, I used to believe that if I didn't do 60 minutes of a workout, it wasn't worth it. That's
Hmm.
not my belief anymore. I believe 10 minutes of walking makes a difference. I believe we did 15 minutes of a rolling session, for our connective tissue. We did that today. That to me is, I'm still like, oh, I'm so grateful I got that in. Not, oh, well, I can't fit in the full body roll, so I'm not even going to bother. So as you start to change your mindset about those things, your how you approach cleaning your attic could all that also starts to change, because then you're like, oh, I'm just going to take this one bin and deal with it little by little, because little by little over a period of time is a lot. Little
Yeah.
by little over a period of time gets the job being done. So as
And it
opposed
gets
to,
the job the right way, you
yeah,
know, as
yeah,
opposed to just like hurry up and do it as fast as possible. When you take your time, you do it
uh-huh,
little by little. And we can, of course, mirror this to our body and ourself. We
uh-huh,
take
uh-huh.
little by little and we really take our time. It's the right way. It's gonna stay
Yeah,
clean as opposed to just hurrying up and putting things like, shoving things in drawers and it looks nice,
uh-huh.
but you open that closet, everything's gonna go falling out, you
Yeah, like the
know.
Tupperware
Yeah,
cabinet where like the
yeah.
lids and everything. Oh, don't.
Oh my God, that damn Tupperware. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
that's the other really cool thing that starts to happen. The more you do respect yourself, your space, your house, and you get your house in order, you want to feel good walking in. Like, I want to feel good walking into my office. I want to
Hmm.
feel good walking into my studio. I want to feel good when I'm done at the day and done from the day and I walk into my living room. And that, so I take the few extra 30 seconds, put the pillows in place, throw the throw blanket on the back, fold it really quick, put it on the back of my couch. These are little things I do. It's just me and Steve. I do it for me. We make our bed every single day. The rule is the last person who leaves the bed makes the bed. And we've had that rule for years and years, and that's what we do, because we respect our space. We want to feel good in our bedroom, um, and that is definitely a message, I believe, connecting to the spirituality of it and the universe of like, why would God, universe, bring you anything more if you can't handle what you've got? But you're not taking care of the body you've got now. So why would that change exactly?
Hmm.
All of a sudden you're going to wake up the next morning and like no. So it's
Right.
little by little by little. It's a process and it's over time, to actually be that good facilitator of like, oh, I can handle good things coming to me and I have the capacity to be able to turn it into something good and handle the good. And then what I will say about that is the more that is put into place, it does give room for creativity and job opportunities coming to you and relationship opportunities coming to you. So much else is opened up when you have the organization of your life, your body, your space, like in check. It's
Yeah.
just it's kind of magical.
Yeah. And it's not just magic either. It's like I mean, scientifically, you can say that, well, with a cleaner room and a cleaner environment, just, you're going to have an ease about you and you're going to sleep better. You're going to wake up happier. All of that's going to happen where then things just kind of happen, you're going to be more open to it
Mhm.
physically and, scientifically. I think that's the truth behind it, the proof behind it. If you don't believe in
Yeah.
like I do, I believe in like things happening for a reason and me opening up space and opening up energy. But if you don't believe in energy, like that, you can believe in energy like the energy you put out.
Mhm.
If you're a miserable person, you have your head down and you're like kind of like, ugh, I gotta go home. My home's a mess. Da, da, da. You're gonna people aren't going to turn to you and go, hey, I've got a great opportunity for you. You want to try something new with me? Like, no, they're like, you should go home and just take a nap.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not go
Yeah.
dancing tonight because you don't look like you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
Yes. So I really love this topic about decluttering and letting go because it's an ongoing process and it doesn't matter who I talk to at what time of year. Of course, we're talking about it around springtime of 2025. It's when we are, recording this conversation. But I bet this time next year, it could be different nuances of the same topic and different insights that we learn. So I would love to hear from you guys, commenting under the video and sharing if you are inspired to clean out your closet this time of year. Maybe try a little exercise like the 15 minutes and the intention behind understanding letting go of things in your space because it's a reflection of internally what's happening, and see if there's anything else that like sparks, like kind of ignites and connects on your own organically. You're not trying to. That's the whole thing of this process, is the reason I have my clients start with that, because healing your food issues, binge eating, can be decades in the making. So how do we really approach that topic when it's so heavy and it's so hard and there's so much to sift through? This can be a really empowering way. It's a pretty simple thing. I mean, just open up your medicine cabinet and clean that out, right? Clean out your medicine cabinet, clean out your makeup bag, clean
Frightening. Sometimes
clean
it's
up
scary.
clean out your spice rack. I gave you three different areas there that can be very like not as emotional as your closet with clothes.
Yes,
All
right.
right. Maybe you don't want to
Mhm.
start there. Let's start easy. And Mandy and I would love to hear from you. So if this video resonated with you at all, please hit like, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed to our YouTube channel. And if you are interested to really roll up your sleeves and do this work in a proper place where we can really support you when you have a lot of things firing off, or maybe are you crying in your closet?
We will be there to hug you.
We will. Please don't cry alone. So we have every month we've set up these MindFit info sessions that Mandy and I are holding on Zoom, which are so fun because first of all, they're not recorded. That means that you can show up and be completely real and honest about your situation. No one's going to hear or have any repeat, like we're not recording it. So it's completely between us. What happens in our Zoom room stays in our Zoom room. And we go over the 12 points of healing your relationship with food. And I've got a little fun worksheet to have you download, and you can doodle in color along the way. And it's just a really fun process to take a look at your relationship with food in your body and maybe some things that have been missing, these missing components that you've tried to tackle, maybe even worked with a therapist or done all sorts of things over the years. But perhaps there's a couple things we can share in our info session that is part of the mentorship program that you can fill in the blanks and put the little missing puzzle pieces into place. So you start to see a bigger picture, because this is what pulls at my heartstrings the biggest, is when the food issues, body image issues, exercise, beating yourself up becomes so big and so daunting. It is really a blockade and getting in the way of you living your best life. There's a certain point that you're looking at those things and you're doing them to get your health in order, but sometimes the pendulum goes too far and you're too much on this roller coaster, and then it's like I can't even get off, and now here we are decades later, and you don't trust yourself with food. You have a love-hate relationship with exercise in your body, all sorts of all the things from diet culture, right? So that's why I call myself a diet recovery specialist, because I'm helping you recover from the damage of dieting, damage mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So we would really love you to attend one of our info sessions. So Mandy is going to include that link below the video in our show notes, and we'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
Okay, so any final thoughts, Mandy?
I just want to say that I really encourage you to, when you're doing your spring cleaning, to really think about if you want this thing, if you need this thing, are you keeping it to appease someone else? Are you keeping it for your body of the future or of the past? Really get rid of things that are not making you happy, because that really changed so much for me. That small little activity, even if it's just your medicine cabinet, like, oh, there's this, I have so much shampoo or different lotions. How many times do you get these like ridiculous lotions and stuff for Christmas? Then you're like, I've got all these little sample lotions. Just get rid of them. Nobody needs them. You don't need them. They're just going to take up space. So yeah, I really encourage you to do that. And I would love to hear about it in the comments, what you plan on doing. If you've
Yeah.
gotten this far in our thing, let us know that you got it.
Yeah, you're
In our
still
conversation.
here.
Yeah, you're
Awesome.
still here in the conversation. Let us know what you're gonna do.
Fabulous. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you on the next one.